Well, this video today is about the false promise of the communication revolution. You see, technology companies are turning us into mindless drones. Well, I've decided to take control of my life back. I've implemented a very simple hack into my daily life. I'm getting my life back. It's not being taken by social media platforms anymore. I'm finally connecting with myself every single day. I'm going to share that simple hack with you in this video. First, let's talk a little bit about these social media platforms. I mean, platforms like Facebook and Twitter have completely changed the world. I think it is absolutely remarkable that information can be shared by everyday people like me, and it can be reached all around the world to anyone with an internet connection. And as the rest of the world comes online, I mean, it completely opens everything up, and it's changing the economies. It makes the world much more efficient. It really does make the world a better place. Yet, the reality is that these platforms haven't really changed the world in the way that we think they can. I mean, think about Facebook at the moment. There's a massive problem of fake news, of very negative information being shared all around, and it's very difficult to know what to believe. But the reason fake news can actually spread on Facebook in the first place comes from the way Facebook has been designed. You see, Facebook bases its success on the amount of time you spend inside the app. And they've hired hundreds of designers who work at making you get addicted to the platform. They figure out how to send you notifications that alert you at that exact moment that they need to bring you back into the app or keep you on the app. People spend a huge amount of time figuring all of this out. But the really key thing is the Facebook Newsfeed. When they invented that, they realized that Facebook can serve the purpose not only of connecting you with your friends and family, but also connecting you with what's happening in the world around you. It was created as a way to compete with Twitter. When Twitter was starting to become the news and information service, it was very disruptive for media sites all around the world. People were starting to get their information from Twitter, so Facebook had to compete. But what they ended up creating was this hybrid where people just mindlessly go to Facebook to log in just to see what's happening. They're not thinking that they're there to actually look at the news. But then you see in your newsfeed that articles start to hit you. Well, Facebook want you to spend as much time as possible inside the app, so they want to serve you up relevant information. They measure how many times you click on those articles, how long you spend on those articles, and whether you actually react to the article and you share it and comment it and try to start a conversation with your friends. That's what serves Facebook's interest. It keeps you inside the app, it keeps you using Facebook, and it means they can keep on serving up advertisements to you so they can keep on making money and their share price can keep on getting bigger. It all sounds fine, except that people have learned how to manipulate the Facebook newsfeed. Publishers know that if they create content that enrages you, that makes you emotional and makes you react, you're more likely to stick with it and share it, and that way just keep on feeding the algorithm, showing that you're there, and then Facebook keeps on serving more content like that to you. You see, the way human beings are programmed is that we react to emotions. We're very emotional creatures. So if we ever see content inside the Facebook newsfeed that either makes us feel a huge amount of joy and very excited, we're likely to go to that and read the articles, click on links, and share it again. But by the same token, and much more likely, if information makes us enraged, that's what's really going to make us act. And the majority of information is designed that way to trigger that deep anger, really deep down inside us. Think about when you're driving along and you see a car crash. You cannot help but look. We're programmed that way. We always have to look out for threats. Well, that's how the Facebook newsfeed has evolved. It's evolved to trigger these deeper emotions of anger inside us. And that's the information that we're actually being programmed to go into Facebook for. But don't just take my word for it. On Ideapod, we published an article where a former Facebook executive said,
I want to bring us back to the point that you were making about exploiting consumer behavior in a consumer internet business. You said that this is a time for soul searching in social media businesses, and you were part of building the largest one. What soul searching are you doing right now on that?
I feel tremendous guilt. I think I think we all knew in the back of our minds, even though we feigned this whole line of like, there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this. It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you as the future leaders of the world to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works.
It's been one of our most wildly successful articles because I think it's triggered something deep down inside people where they realize this is actually what's going on. We're being programmed by Facebook. The problem is that we're addicted to Facebook. It gets to the point that people feel shadow vibrations in their legs. Has that ever happened to you, that you actually just feel like there's been some sort of notification, so you reach in for your phone and then you go to it? It definitely happens to me. And I found that I was getting completely addicted. Then I tried using Twitter in the same way and it started to become a bit of an addiction as well. And I realized that I'm becoming addicted to these technology platforms that promised me so much. They promised me liberation, that I could finally connect with information all around the world, and I realized I was completely addicted. I was a slave to my phone. That's why I had to develop a hack that finally helped me liberate myself from my phone and take control of my life again. This simple hack is all about taking control back of your life from technology, and it's about what you do with your phone at the start and at the end of your day. So what I do before I go to bed, I make sure that my phone is away from the bed, charging in airplane mode, so that I've actually got to get up to get to the phone. The reason I do this is that the start of the day is really the most important moment. That moment when you move from dreams into reality is one of the most powerful moments for programming your mind, because when we're dreaming, studies have been done that show that while we're dreaming is when we're forming new neural networks, new patterns, because our brain goes through what happened the day before and it starts to identify the challenges and the stressful moments, and it starts to reconfigure what's in the brain to try to come up with new solutions. That's why when we experience new ideas, it feels like an aha moment, because it just comes to us like a flash. Well, the reality is that probably your brain has formed and configured that new idea while you're sleeping. Maybe not the night before, but in the previous nights. And then you've just put yourself in a situation where you can experience that challenge again, when you can push up against the limit and you experience that rush, that aha moment. It almost feels like the idea already existed inside you, like you've channeled it in some way. Well, probably you came up with that idea while you were sleeping. Sleeping is such a powerful moment. When we shift from the dreaming state back into reality when we first wake up, that's the most powerful moment for programming our mind, for actually thinking of these different issues and challenges in a conscious waking state, while still being in that state when the brain is being reconfigured. Well, the majority of us now, the first thing we do in the morning as we shift from dreams into reality is we reach for our phone. And the chances are that you're possibly looking at your emails, but a lot of us are going straight into a platform like Facebook, maybe one of the other ones as well. And then we get that same information screaming at us for attention, activating our fight or flight system, showing us all of the terrible things going on in the world, or maybe some of the really joyful, wonderful moments, and getting us into a pretty, active and happy state, which is not such a bad thing at all. But the reality is that most of us pretty mindless drivel reaching us in our Facebook news feed. And that's how our mind is being programmed in the morning, the most powerful moment of the day. It's the first thing we do. We reach for our phones. That's why you need to keep your phone away from your bed in airplane mode and charging, and enjoy those first moments of the day when you shift from the dreaming state back into reality. The next thing I do is I leave my phone charging, or it's fully charged, in airplane mode, and then I get moving with my body. I'm currently in Curitiba in Brazil visiting the shaman Hura Iande, and this has been the perfect place for me to implement these new routines. You see, I'm out in nature. He lives in a beautiful property outside Curitiba with a bit of a jungle connected to his place. And what it's done is it's inspired me to get outside and to move my body. So I do some pretty simple exercises to get moving and try to keep as fit as I possibly can. And it sets the tone for my body and it starts the day, because I find that then I can really integrate what's happened during the night and in my initial moments of waking up and think about the day ahead while I'm actually moving my body. And it means that I'm starting to plan what's going to happen that day in a very active state where I'm connecting with who I am deeper down inside, and it really sets the tone for a wonderful day. The next thing I do, and this is a little different to keeping the phone away, but after I've turned on the phone and I've figured out my tasks for the day, I identify the thing that needs to be done that's the hardest for me to do. A friend of mine, Anna from Mind Valley Academy, she posted on my Facebook page recently saying that she likes to slay the dragon at the beginning of the day, and it's the perfect thing to do. What you do is you pick that most difficult task that you just don't really want to do, and you knock it over as the first task of that day. Before you enter this world of Facebook and catch up with everything that's going on, you just knock over the task. So for me yesterday, I absolutely hate this kind of work, but I did our accounting for IdeaPod. I've been needing to catch up on this for a long time. I've got people at me for it. So I finally sat down and just did the things I needed to do it. You see, once you've set the tone for your day, you wake up in this very wonderful state where you're integrating what you've learnt overnight, you slay the dragon, you get started. Then I think you can start to enter the world of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Google and everything else like that, and use them the way that they're meant to be used, which are tools for us doing mindful things, for us taking control of our lives, for us doing what actually serves our greater purpose. You see, I use these platforms all the time. They've changed my life and I love using them, but I'm using them in a much more mindful way because I get my day off to a really great start. This is basically my very simple hack that I've implemented into my life to take control back from technology, to not be a slave to these platforms, to not be completely addicted. I'm now more able to use these platforms to serve my greater purpose, to connect with my loved ones, to have access to information, to get things done. I think these platforms are really wonderful in that way. And I think if you implement these very simple hacks into your own daily life, I really hope that you too won't be a slave to technology. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more hacks like these, please subscribe to the channel. I'm starting to share a lot of the ideas shared on IdeaPod here in video form. I'm really enjoying creating these videos. I would love it if you subscribe or comment on the video or like it. It helps more people see videos like this. Thanks so much for being here.